Hey guys, it's Mr. C here, and this is my Small Silver Speedster. And the book I'm going to show you is one of my favorite. It's called The Small Silver Speedster. And it's a story about a father and a daughter who fly across to New York City, visit Maxie's showroom, and they buy a small silver speedster, just like this one. Together they prepare it for some racing, and the dad races it, and well, you'll have to find out what happens at the end of the story. One of my favorite books. Enjoy! The Small Silver Speedster. Years ago, there was a small silver speedster. It was light, it was agile, it was beautiful. It sat outside the factory in Germany, waiting for its long trip to the USA. After a long and slow journey, the silver car was unloaded. Gently, it was lifted. Carefully, it was lowered until it rested safely on the docks of New York Harbor. In California, a father and daughter boarded a plane to New York. The father had sold his trusty MG. He was ready for a newer, more powerful racing car. In his showroom in New York City, Max Hoffman shared the merits of the silver sports car. It's unsurpassed in road holding, steering, and braking, Max said. Out in front, a young woman screeched to a halt at the curb. She removed her polka dot helmet and walked into the showroom. It was racing driver Denise McCluggage.
Is this for you?
Denise asked the girl. She looked at her dad. He smiled and winked.
Yes,
Daughter said.
What a lucky girl.
Denise exclaimed. The deal was done. Father and daughter were the proud owners of the new Porsche Speedster. Max and the father shook hands. Denise waved to the girl and called out,
Keep the revs up.
The long trip home had begun. That night, they made it to Pittsburgh. Tomorrow, they'd be on Route 66. Day 1. The first full day in the Speedster, they tested its handling in the rain. With the side curtains in place, the duo stayed mostly dry, which is also a little bit wet. That night, they dried off in St. Louis, Missouri. Day 2. On the second day, the father and daughter explored the Porsche's top speed in the wide open spaces of the American West. Late that night, they and the silver car rested in Tucumcari, New Mexico. Enjoy America's Southwest, Scenic Highway 66. Day 3. On the third day, they enjoyed both the long straight stretches and the tight winding curves through the mountains of the Southwest. They said a tired goodnight in Flagstaff, Arizona. Day 4. Day 4 was the home stretch. They crossed the Colorado River and checked the towns off their list as they neared home. Kingman, Barstow, San Bernardino. Home! At last they pulled into the drive. Friends and family were there to greet them. Some had never seen a Porsche.
you have to keep the revs up.
Told them. Now they would prepare the car to race. They removed extra weight, the bumpers, the hubcaps. They put in hotter spark plugs. They retuned. They added a sports mirror and safety straps on the hood. It was time for a test run. Along the Pacific coast, the silver Porsche ran strong. They had coaxed a little more power out of the Speedster, and the Speedster had coaxed a few more smiles out of them. The last step before racing was to give the car its livery. They added big white circles on the doors, hood, and the deck lid. "Pick a number," the father said. She did, and they painted a big black number 8 on every side. They painted a red rim on every wheel and 2 red stripes on the father's helmet to match. They added a golden giraffe taking flight, a Giraffesus. They were ready to race. At Vaca Valley, they finished 11th. Not a bad first outing, but they'd have to carry more speed through the turns. At Riverside, they did just that, braking less, accelerating sooner. They got faster, and the silver number 8 with the red rims took 5th. At Buchanan Field, they took an early lead. They spun with 1 lap to go. Smooth is fast. A spin is not fast. Next up were the regional sport car races at Laguna Seca. 19 beautiful miles of racetrack tucked into the California hills. 7 laps in, the Speedster was running well. The father pushed it hard. He pushed past one car, then another. He carried his speed. He dove deep into the turns. But then... wham! The silver number 8 slammed into the car ahead. He had come into the turn too fast. He had braked too late. He would not finish the race. You have to finish to win. They had lost, but were not defeated. Together they would repair the car and try again. "Next time," the dad whispered.
Next time,
The girls shouted. That week they straightened the fender. Together they hammered out the dents. Together they painted their work silver. It almost matched. Finally, they replaced the broken headlight. Denise McCluggage was on the radio. Father and daughter paused and listened intently.
Smooth is fast. To be smooth, do these 3 things. Deliberate shifts. Squeeze the brakes. And in the turns, slow in, fast out.
They would try hard to remember. That night, father and daughter recited the list. Deliberate shifts, squeeze the brakes, slow in, fast out. They would put them to use tomorrow. And,
keep the revs up.
she said, it was the big day, the Pacific Grand Prix amateur race at Laguna Seca. 24 sports racers lined up with their engines revving. The starter leapt into the air, the green flag dropped, the race was on. The father began cautiously. You have to finish to win. Lap after lap, he cut through the S's. Each time a little faster, a little smoother than before. He shifted deliberately. Shift deliberately. He squeezed the brakes. Squeeze the brake. He was slow in, he was fast out. He was one with the small silver speedster. Smooth, smooth, smooth through the turns. Smooth, smooth, smooth through the turns. He braked, he downshifted, he held his line, he accelerated out. The number 8 was in the lead. There was a flash of silver at the finish line. The checkered flag waved for the number 8 Porsche. The crowd cheered. They had won the race. The father steered past the pits to where the daughter waited. She climbed into the silver Porsche Speedster. They kept the revs up, and together they drove their victory lap. Smoothly. The end.